Hello, film fans. Okay, today I'm going to be doing a review of Room 237, which me and my husband just saw this afternoon. And I gotta say, this is one of the coolest movies I've seen in a long, long time. It was so, so good. Um, for those of you who don't know, it's a documentary about the film The Shining, classic horror masterpiece directed by Stanley Kubrick, starring Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall, and it's all about like the hidden messages and secret theories about the movie by about, like I say, 6 or 7 people who, throughout the movie they talk about their various things they've gleaned from their study of the film over the years, and it was just incredible. Whether you actually agree with their theories or buy into them or whatever is one thing, but just it's really a delight for any film fan. Would just love this movie, especially if you're a fan of The Shining, one of my favorite horror movies, definitely of all time, and Stanley Kubrick is definitely, if not my favorite director of all time, then definitely one of my favorite directors. I mean, the man was a genius. His movies were just incredible. 2001: A Space Odyssey, A Clockwork Orange, Eyes Wide Shut, Barry Lyndon, The Shining. Just so many great films this man made. And no surprise, he had like a 200 IQ. This guy was a genius. So, anyway. Throughout the movie, we don't actually see these people who are giving us their theories of, the movie. We just hear their voiceovers, and then they play like the movie clips and clips from other movies, clips from other Stanley Kubrick movies, clips from other just movies in general that kind of go along with the story. And it was just, really amazing. You know what I love? I love the idea that there are some people out there who are just so, in love with movies and so obsessed with movies that they'll devote, like their years of their lives to like studying this movie. Like, I mean, all of these people said they watched The Shining like over and over and over again. I think myself, I've seen it a lot. I've seen it at least 10 times for sure, probably way more than that. My daughter has watched it. My daughter is 13 now, and a lot of parents are probably going to say I was, not a good mommy for letting her watch this movie very young, but she watched this movie when she was like maybe 5. I let her watch it, and she just fell in love with it. She loved it as much as I did, and, probably not the greatest movie for a 5-year-old to see, but, she's a strong kid. She can handle it. But anyway, it was just really incredible. Like, okay, so to sum up their theories, there were 3 really major ones. One guy's theory was that The Shining is really all about the genocide of the American Indian by the white man. Another theory was that it had something to do with the Apollo moon landing. One guy was saying that Stanley Kubrick actually faked. He believes that the Apollo moon landing took place. He's not disputing the fact that the moon landing took place, but he's saying that Stanley Kubrick, through his film 2001, and I guess with just his mastery with film and photography and all that stuff, that he actually took the pictures of the moon landing, and these were like just fakes that were given to the public, and they weren't actually the real pictures from the landing. Now, why? If he believes the moon landing actually took place, then why would anybody have to fake pictures? Anyway, that one didn't make sense to me. And then the other one was the Holocaust, that The Shining was really all about the Holocaust and the execution of all the Jews and all that. Now, of all of the theories, the one that I can really think is kind of maybe plausible is the American Indian one, because when they went through all the clips in the movies, they were showing all these things, like there would be a picture of an Indian on the wall. There were like cans in the pantry. There were like cans with Indian heads on them. It just seemed like there was a lot of Indian imagery going on in the movie. So I can think maybe, yeah, that could have been, like, I mean, we'll never know. I mean, Stanley Kubrick is dead. He never, said anything, obviously, about if there were any ulterior motives or hidden meanings behind his movie before he died. And there's a big disclaimer at the beginning of the movie, at the beginning of the film, saying that the estate of Stanley Kubrick does in no way agrees with, endorses any of the theories in this movie. So that's like the big disclaimer right at the beginning. So I mean, whether there was even any like grand design behind The Shining, I mean, given the fact that Stanley Kubrick was a master filmmaker, the fact that he had a 200 IQ, I definitely believe that there were some hidden things in there that he put in there by design for his own ends. Actually, one of them that was really funny, this one was hilarious. They were talking about the scene where Scatman Crothers is driving to the hotel in that big, huge blizzard, and there's like 2 trucks off to the side of the road that are like turned over, and they're on top of like a red VW. Well, obviously The Shining was written by Stephen King, and Stephen King has said how much he hated The Shining. He despised Stanley Kubrick's rendition of The Shining. He's been very public about that. And so anyway, in the book, Jack, the character in the book, drives a red VW. Well, in the movie, Stanley Kubrick has him driving a yellow VW. And so one guy's theory was that scene where Scatman Crothers is driving by the turned over trucks that are on top of this red VW, that was kind of like Kubrick's F you to Stephen King, saying, hey, I did what I wanted with my movie. I didn't follow your book to the letter. I put my own ideas in there, so F you. That was his kind of like personal message to Stephen King. And I just thought that was hilarious. And I can buy that. I can definitely buy that, because I'm sure Stanley Kubrick had quite the ego. I'm sure he wanted to sock it to Stephen King. So I can buy that. But I mean, there were like all sorts of like, it was, if you guys get a chance to see this movie, go see it. It's really, it's just amazing, and I mean, this movie made me think of, is a movie just ever a movie? Like I've heard it said before that no shot in a movie made by any great director is ever arbitrary. Like everything you see in a shot is there for a specific reason. Even the stuff that you don't consciously pick up on, like in the set design, like whatever, if there's like a coffee cup or if there's a jacket or whatever, it's all placed there very, very, with intention, with purpose. And, it made me think, like, is a movie just ever a movie? Is it ever just a story told straightforwardly from beginning to end, and that's all there is? No. When a really great director makes a movie, there's a lot more to it than that. I mean, they have the artistry to be able to put all this other stuff in there and kind of use the movie for their own ends and for their own means and all that. And it's really, really fascinating, like just how they do this. And they were talking about like all these like little things. Like in one scene, you could argue that it's maybe just a continuity problem, like an editing problem. Like in one scene where Wendy, Jack's wife, that famous scene where she comes into the room when he's working and he's really pissed off, and she's like, oh, maybe you'll take me for a walk later. And he's like, Wendy, let me tell you. And he like really gives it to her. In that scene, in the first shot, there's like a chair in the background, but then the next one, the chair is gone. And so was that just an error? I find it hard to believe that a man like Stanley Kubrick would ever leave an error like that in his film. I'm sure he would have spotted it, and if that would have been a problem for him, he would have, reshot it or whatever. Like, there's no way he would have left an error in his movie. There's no way. So it just, like little things like that, it just really, really absolutely fascinating. And like I said, have you heard the, Sigmund Freud, the great psychiatrist? He was always boiling everything down to sex. Everything in a dream was a sexual image. Everything, was sex. So it started me thinking, is a movie ever just a movie? Like that, somebody asked, is a cigar ever just a cigar? Because to Sigmund Freud, a cigar in a dream would have represented, a phallic symbol or whatever, right? It's like, there's just all this, so much complexity, and, but in a great way, like, I love movies. I love discussing movies. I love watching movies. I love, seeing what other people think about movies, sharing opinions about movies. And this movie was just all about that. It was all about, You know, just the love of this movie, and the study and the fascination that people had with it. And it was really a great homage to Stanley Kubrick, I thought. A great homage to the film. And, you know, it was just amazing. I've got to watch The Shining again now. I was actually looking for it. I have it on VHS. Believe it or not, we still have a VCR. I don't have it on DVD. I might have to go out and buy it on DVD now and watch it again, because it just brought back all those great memories of watching it in the past. You know, it's an amazing movie. And this was also an amazing movie, Room 237. Just absolutely fantastic. I loved it. Had a great time. I'd love to see it again, so I could just go through all these theories and all these things again, because it's impossible to remember them all. But it was great. I highly recommend it. 2 big thumbs up for Room 237. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.